Welcome back to Reviews and Rankings with Robbie Sobel. Today, I'm going to take a look at the 2021 film, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It is directed by Michael Chavis and stars Vera Farmiga, Patrick Wilson, Sarah Catherine Hook, and Ruari O'Connor. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to take a look at the brand new entry into the Conjuring Universe, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. It just dropped on HBO Max as well as being released in the theater, so you have the option to head out of the house and check it out at the movies, or stay home and watch it while you're comfy in bed or on the couch. Now, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It is the third Conjuring film, but more importantly, it's the 8th entry into the much larger Conjuring universe. The Conjuring Universe started nearly a decade ago, and over the course of the previous 7 entries, we've had a budget of $140 million combined, but the return at the investment at the box office has been $1.9 billion. It's the second most successful horror franchise in history, sitting only behind Godzilla. Now, the latest entry in the Conjuring universe has a backdrop following the real-life case of Arnie Johnson. It's a young boy in Connecticut in the early 1980s who claimed that he was possessed by a demon, and that was the reasoning he gave for killing his landlord. Now, when we start off this movie, we see a much younger boy being possessed in the middle of an exorcism, and he has his family and his friends nearby, and Ed and Lorraine Warren are there, and then a priest arrives at the house, and we actually get a really cool shot. It's kind of mimicking the shot that we've seen, the famous one in The Exorcist, when Father Merrin heads to the house for the exorcism on Reagan. And once this priest arrives, the demon in this boy really starts to get even more aggressive. His rage gets bumped up to a 10. Arnie Johnson is there, kind of a local friend of the family. He grabs hold of this boy and he just warns and tells this demon to take him instead. And that's what happened. Sometime later, the demon inside Arnie starts to flash different visions, and it leads to him getting possessed and killing his landlord. He's caught walking up a road covered in blood by a local policeman, and he's brought into custody, and that's when he links up with his lawyer, who eventually contacts Ed and Lorraine Warren, and they convince the lawyer to have Arnie plead a demonic possession defense. This entire film then pretty much follows Ed and Lorraine Warren trying to come down to the bottom of what actually happened and why is this demon possessing Arnie, all while Arnie himself is trying to deal with this demon coming in and out of him, and he's just trying to survive at the end of the day. Now, I'm not going to delve too much into spoilers, but I'll tell you what I liked, what I didn't like, and then we'll wrap it up with an overall rating. Now, the good part of this film is that if you are a fan of possession films, especially the other entries in the Conjuring universe, you're probably going to like this one. It feels very familiar. It has all the similar beats and bumps, the jump scares, the camera angles, and the cinematography. Just the overall feel of this movie fits in line with every other entry. Now, the other entries in the entire Conjuring universe kind of range from very good, maybe almost great, to kind of bottom of the barrel and boring, depending on what stories you gravitate towards. But the 2 previous Conjuring films have all been received well and are considered 2 of the best, if not the 2 best in the Conjuring universe. James Wan steps aside out of the director's chair, and in his place is Michael Chavis, who previously directed The Curse of La Llorona. That film didn't get the best reviews and was actually the least profitable of all the Conjuring films, but personally I thought it was pretty decent. It's nothing that great, but it's not as bad as a lot of people and critics made it out to be. The bad part about this film, and it's not so much that it's a bad thing, it's just that it kind of gets tiring. This, like I said, it's the 3rd Conjuring film, but it's the 8th in the universe, and it feels tired. This is really just more of the same, and after a while you kind of just get these diminishing returns where each film has these similar beats and there's nothing really switching it up for the most part, and you kind of just get left saying, I've seen all this before. Nothing really new. Not bad, but kind of forgettable, and it's just going to kind of blend in. Now, Annabelle Comes Home came out about 2 or 3 years ago. I'll get the correct date right here for you. And that felt a little more fun. There was a little more energy in it. And I personally really enjoyed that film because it stuck out. The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It is just kind of a retread of every other type of film in this franchise. So I was left kind of just meh. Now, the best parts of this film are Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson. They have these characters on lock. They really are dialed in, and they know exactly the proper beats to play with Ed and Lorraine Warren, and the chemistry is there. You actually believe that they're a couple. And if you're going to have a film that's anchored by two lead actors, you want to make sure that those two actors are your strongest no matter what. So even if you have kind of an average story like this film, these two performances can kind of raise it up slightly and make it at least a little bit memorable for what they put on screen. The special effects in The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, for the most part, are pretty good, especially for 2021 standards. But there was a couple of instances where the CGI really showed on screen. During that opening scene that I was speaking about, it was really tense, and you see the boy kind of being possessed. He's about to be going through his exorcism, and he kind of contorts his body. It's very odd. It's like his spine and his head twist around, and it just looked like it was done on a computer. It looked like it was done on an editing machine. And when you're watching a film, you don't want to be in this moment in a tense, dark, kind of scary, serious situation and then see something like that and you kind of go, yeah, that looks kind of phony. It takes you out and it kind of brings just the overall feel of the movie down. I feel like if they kind of dialed that back, or even if they did do CGI but tighten it up a little bit more, I think I would have been a little bit more invested in these scenes, and maybe I would be scared more, and that would have been a little bit more effective. Overall, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It right now is sitting at a 62% Rotten Tomatoes score. Now, obviously, the film has just dropped, so we're going to be getting a lot more reviews in, not just from the critics, but from the audience as well, so that score will fluctuate. But I have to admit, usually I don't agree with Rotten Tomatoes critic scores, but this one seems to hit the nail on the head. This isn't a bad movie at all, and I'm not regretting the fact that I spent about 2 hours watching it, but it's not one that I'm going to be clamoring and cheering for people to check out, and it's definitely not going to be at the top of my Conjuring Universe ranking. For me, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It is slightly above average, and it's going to sit fairly comfortable in the middle at 3 out of 5 stars. Alright guys, have you checked out The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It? Are you a fan of the Conjuring universe at all? If you are, if you're not, let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, you can hit like. If you loved it, you can subscribe. And of course, you can hit me up on Instagram and Twitter at RankingsRS. So thanks for checking out the channel, and keep watching movies.